there's consolidation happening across the vendor community, but it's not real consolidation, it's procurement consolidation.
Welcome back to another episode of Business Disruptions in Tech. As always, I am your host, Howard Holton. And once again, we are in the sunny San Francisco, which I'm so happy it's sunny here. Although we're at the top of a hill, which, I'm not amazing at. Anyhow, we're back at RSA, the kind of business version of Hacker Winter Camp. And I have the pleasure of being here with Jaime Romero, the CMO of Cato Networks.
Thank you. Pleasure to meet you.
Thank you for joining us. So, again, right, we're here. You and I were talking. You've been at Cato for a very long time. Why don't you give us a little bit of your background and talk a little bit about kind of what brought you to Cato and what's got you excited about Cato?
So I've been with Cato a long 2.5 months now, and it's been an incredible 2.5 months. They are an amazing company. Prior to Cato, I was with Fortinet for 6.5 years. I was head of their marketing most recently. So I know the space. I know the space very well, which is why I'm super excited to be at Cato. We're a SASE company. We founded the SASE category, and now we're leading the AI security space. So it's an exciting time to be at Cato Networks.
So I have to tell you, we produced a SASE report. I really like the kind of concept. At the same time, I kind of feel like every time somebody says it, they have to snap. At some point, I think maybe we need to stop inventing new acronyms.
Please.
Right? But let's talk about that for a minute. Because, we've got kind of the traditional VPN, ZTNA, right? CSPM, SSE, and SASE. So talk a bit about SASE and kind of what differentiates it. What does it build on? What does it encapsulate? Right? Help our viewers really understand what it is, and then we can talk a bit about why it matters.
Yeah, so Cato was founded on the principle of the convergence of networking and security, right? And when they were founded, they invested heavily. They built this big cloud infrastructure. And being that VPN was already a broken technology with implicit access to everything on the network, building that technology, the cloud infrastructure, and that zero trust mindset built into the network, it gave them an advantage to connect their users, their devices, the applications securely right from the start. There was no need for devices. There was no need for to create these vulnerabilities and the hardware that was already, creating these infrastructure and the complexity on the network, right? So it was really easy to get into the market, to start building out that infrastructure with those customers right away.
Sure, and the timing is good.
The timing was great, right?
Not only did we lack the cloud infrastructure a decade ago to really have the number of POPs necessary to enable this sort of thing to work, but also we lacked the inflection point in the buyer. Right? There's nothing better than being kind of right place, right time to see your technology, kind of work at scale.
Yes.
Right. So that's kind of how Cato came here, right? So when you're kind of looking among the competitive landscape, among the connectivity, are you seeing that customers have kind of figured out that they have to do something new and have chosen a path? Or are you still seeing a lot of customers that are like, well, we're still shockingly running VPN and we're just now realizing we need to get off of it? Or is there some other inflection that's happening that's pushing customers?
Yeah, so we see SASE starting from, you're either coming from a hardware vendor or you're coming from the security side, right? And they are coming off VPN. Their MPLS is super expensive, and they're trying to decide where the starting point is. Their average company has, over 50 or 60 different security tools. So it's a very complex environment, and they're actively consolidating vendors. And it's that complexity creates a lot of risk for them. And the problem we're seeing is there's consolidation happening across the vendor community, but it's not real consolidation, it's procurement consolidation.
Sure.
Right? It's all these acquisitions are happening, they're coming out with all these platforms, but they're not really platforms, right? They're really just portfolio companies. They're making it easy to buy, but they're not really platforms in the sense that they're actually one product.
Right. They like the cohesion necessary to really be a singular platform.
Exactly.
Right?
So you're not really solving the complexity problems. You're not really solving the connectivity problems. And so you're still dealing with the complexity. You're still dealing with the overhead of having to have all those resources to manage all those products. So you made it easy for the procurement teams, but you're not making it easier on the security teams.
I mean, in fairness, the team I like dealing with the least as a CIO or CISO or CTO, that's procurement. I'll deal with HR 10 times in exchange for them to deal with procurement 1.
Fair. Right? But at the end of
HR is difficult. Procurement, that's like the DMV, man.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, CISOs and CIOs are accountable to the board, right?
This is it.
And at the end of the day, you want to sleep at night. We have a customer, right? And they had constant connectivity issues. I think it was Ulta Beauty, right? And it was so bad that every week they had to send a report to the board. Every downtime meant money for them.
For sure. So when we're talking downtime in that instance, are we talking retail stores? Are we talking individuals? Are we talking a combination of the two?
Retail stores.
Okay.
Retail store connectivity. And this is not network connectivity, meaning last mile connectivity to their service provider, right? This is connectivity to data centers, big connectivity to the infrastructure. And once they made, they consolidated, they had four or five different vendors at each store. Once they really consolidated to a single vendor infrastructure, downtime stopped, right? And the guy no longer has to report to the board anymore. He literally said, I get to sleep at night. And he literally said, I could take all of that time and I'm investing in innovative projects, innovation, right? So there's an opportunity cost to having all that complexity. So yeah, you don't want to deal with procurement, but there's also a cost to not dealing with procurement.
For sure.
Right?
For sure. I like the story there. We often talk about opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is real cost. It's absolutely real, true cost. The most expensive thing I have in my department, in my entire organization, is not infrastructure. It's not the networking. It's not the cabling. It's not the contracts with Comcast. That's expensive for a different reason. It is absolutely the people.
Yeah.
Right. And I think we spend too much time thinking about the people we don't have, and not enough time thinking about how we really increase the value of the people that we do have.
Yeah.
Right. And so that opportunity cost is something we probably need to stop calling opportunity cost, because it almost, we've talked about it so much, so often, for so long, it almost diminishes it. We really need to talk about it as critical cost, people cost, something.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, you can't get time back, right?
Well, we're calling it the new platform economy, right? Because everybody keeps talking about platforms, but it's not just about the platform. It's about the economy. It's the economics of the platform. It's the cost of the platform. It's the cost of the people managing the platform. It's the cost of the risk. Because at the end of the day, you're not eliminating risk, right? CISOs, CIOs, they're making decisions about what the cost of the risk is. What are the economic impact of having that risk? And how much of an economic impact, how much of risk are they willing to accept? Right?
Sure. The goal is to reduce risk and mitigate liability.
Exactly.
That's the goal.
So our perspective, it's really economic decisions, right? So that's why it's a platform decision, but it's a platform economy at the end of the day.
Sure. All right. So let's talk about platforms for a little bit, right? So you've kind of combined several technologies into a single platform, into a single security interface. We talked a little bit about it eliminates kind of traditional VPN, right? We talked for a second about SD-WAN, right? And so let's be clear, the goal of SD-WAN is to be able to use commoditized network connectivity in the same way we would have used expensive MPLS in the past, right? So again, not just reduce cost, but also add a tremendous amount of flexibility to your corporate hub and spoke networking, right? Okay, so we've got those, and you talked a bit about how some of the platforms are really a collection of M&A activities with a loose wrapper, if that even exists. So is Cato's completely home built, fully integrated, single platform, single interface.
Yes, it is. It's a fully integrated, single built platform. And you can, one of the ways you can actually see that in action is in our cloud infrastructure, we built something called Space, single pass architecture, which it's single pass decryption and encryption. It does all the inspection and decryption in one place. And that's how you tell in one way at least, that it's a unified platform. It's when we acquired AIM Security for the AI inspection, for example. It's fully integrated into the platform. So everything happens all in one time, all in the cloud, all at the same time, right? It's not like it's two different platforms. You're not logging into two different places. Even on the front end, sometimes they will put one pane of glass, but in the background, it's still two different platforms. It's still all, it's one platform. We spent the last 6 months rebuilding a lot of the technology so that it is single, it's all unified in the back end. So we're really excited about that.
That's really nice. Okay, so hardware free, right? There's no hardware deployment.
Well, for the SD-WAN, there is. We have a routing box. It's all OpEx, so
Okay.
it's part of the subscription that can be deployed easily across all the retail environments or all the locations.
So it's a agentless, runs clean, runs easy. What does kind of your onboarding look like, if you know?
It's pretty straightforward. We can onboard customers in literally a day. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. That's why I love the company so much. I've never been to a company where customers love the product so much. I spoke to a service provider the other day, and she flat out said we have the best product in the market. I will say, one of the challenges we have in selling into some of the larger companies is they don't want to buy everything all at once. Sure. Right? It's such a problem, which is one of the big changes we've made. Is now you can buy things separately.
So what does that mean? You can buy features and functions separately?
We're launching what we call the modules. So
okay.
In the next few weeks, by the time everyone can see this, is you can actually start buying individual components of the platform separately. You can always use individual components of the platform separately, and we've launched a new pricing model a few months back. Where you can buy your SD-WAN separately, you can buy the SSE separately, you can buy Universal ZTNA, you can buy your AI security, or you can buy the entire platform all in one shot. So we have customers buying bits and pieces of the platform, and then once you're in one component, you can just literally turn on everything as if it was a simple feature.
So I license the platform. How is the platform? Is it licensed per user, per endpoint, per
user? Everything is per user except the SD-WAN is there's bandwidth component to it.
Oh, okay. All right, and is that a turn up, turn down kind of bandwidth component?
And then we have burst pricing, so you can use it and you won't have to worry about, if you have a burst in your consumption, you don't have to worry about it.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
Yeah, it's super simple.
And then the features are applied to the whole account, or the features are applied to a number of users, or how does that work?
Full account.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Super simple. We make it as simple as possible. It's what we're known for.
Right. So the goal is to make it simple, give a few dials the customers have requested without getting right back into that whole, you can turn it on in one day, but it's 7.5 weeks of pricing because we've got to go back and forth with the configurator to get it just perfect. The configurator is nice and simple. I can get a quote quick.
That's
I can
right.
provision quick. I can deploy quick.
That's right.
Awesome. What does it look like taking a team, right, from an operation standpoint? So it seems like it's really easy for the end user to use, right? Mm-hmm. What does it look like from a operations system, right? So how does my IT team, my cybersecurity team work together to deploy it, to use it, to manage it? What kind of controls do we gain?
I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I actually took a demo of it 2 days ago. The platform is super simple to use. I met with a big service provider in Europe just a few weeks ago, and their team loves it. When you look at the firewall configurations, and it's all pretty straightforward. It's nothing unique there in terms of like managing a firewall and rule-based policies. So I think anybody who knows how to manage a network, it should be pretty familiar to them. But it's all in one place, and there's some unique stuff that we do there, especially on the AI side. I think the AI rule base and configuration is pretty neat, especially when you're looking at the shadow AI that
let's
you might
get into
find.
that. So you talked a little bit about an AI acquisition that you've baked into the platform. What is it? What does it do? Kind of how should customers think about it? AI is the big,
Yep.
in some cases the big boogeyman, in some cases the big bullshit man,
Yep.
right? So what are you using AI for? What do you intend to use AI for? Kind of like what's today, what's the strategy, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so the AI piece is super exciting. I'll get into the AI acquisition in a second, but just to set the context, right, in terms of the broader market, one of the interesting things about AI, right, is you've got these AI enablers and the infrastructure that's allowing companies to use AI. And then the idea that AI is creating this opportunity for company, the beneficiaries of the AI, right, to use company to accelerate the ability to generate profits and to accelerate the transformation. Cybersecurity sits in a position where we're not only the enablers of AI, but we're also beneficiaries to AI. So Cato is in a position to not only provide technology to enable companies to leverage AI, but we are an innovator in terms of how we leverage AI by using GPUs in our cloud. We're the first and only SASE provider to use GPUs in our cloud to leverage models right at the edge, right in the cloud.
So that's interesting. Let's talk about that for just a moment,
Sure.
right? Because on one hand, that immediately makes me think of Jensen Huang a couple of weeks ago, right? Talking about how he sees AI at the edge as the next major advancement in technology. That the need for AI is so strong and going to be needed by so many people. Moving that compute all the way to the edge is what's going to enable kind of the next round of advancement in AI. As someone that spent a decade before LLMs working with AI, especially in a lot of computer vision, this is kind of music to my ears. There's so much we can do, but getting that compute to the point where it is as close to the users as possible is important. So what are you guys doing to help enable that?
So let's use DLP as an example. Like a lot of DLP rules are rules based, right? Here's a credit card. Here's what credit card looks like. Here's what PII looks like. If you're going to use AI to secure PII or credit card information, it's going to follow a particular rules base. And a lot of modern DLP might use AI to do that. And you're going to offload a lot of that AI inspection into a hyperscaler somewhere. So there's a lot of latency that might come with that. When you put that GPUs in the cloud inline, so when I told you earlier about space, and you're doing that single pass inspection, right? You're decrypting once. Right? And when you have GPUs in the cloud, you're decrypting once, you got your LLMs in the cloud, your small language models in the cloud. We can build models to do all of that inspection right there, right at the edge, so that latency almost disappears. So DLP is just one example of how we can build super powerful models right in our POP infrastructure to do super advanced inspections right there, right in line, right in line with the inspection.
Sure.
And then just close the loop on that.
How many POPs do you guys have worldwide?
We say 85 plus. We're about to close out on 100.
You've deployed them in probably all the hottest POPs.
I would imagine. I don't know the answer, but yeah, we're putting them out there.
I'm sure you're growing the number of POPs that have GPUs,
Every day,
right?
yeah.
This is a big investment space.
I think we just launched one in Alaska, actually.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that'd be really interesting for oil and gas use cases, right? There's some oil and gas stuff that pipeline inspection's a big thing for oil and gas. Mm-hmm. It's absolutely freaking massive. And there's a few ways to do it, not the least of which is, the traditional way is they literally have a person drive a truck. And they drive until they can't see, and then they stop and they get out and they walk up to it. The more modern techniques are drones.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Drones are the smartest way to do it. And then computer vision using AI superseded, the accuracy within it superseded humans in 2013. So 13 years ago, computer vision became more accurate at all of the use cases we have for computer vision than humans. So if you think about that, when you're looking at something like a massive oil and gas pipeline, right? Add on to that the fact that you can do none of that actually with the drone. Right, the drone is just relaying the data back to a base station, back to the network. There's a lot of value in having those GPUs near the edge for those kind of use cases, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one piece.
So we call that the Cato neural edge, right?
Okay.
So deploying GPUs, but that's where Cato really embraces innovation, and we just try to stay ahead of the competition. And that's one way we use AI we're a beneficiary of AI.
Sure.
We see the AIM acquisition as enabler of AI, where I think we bought a leader in the AI space, right? We bought one of the larger, most complete platforms in the space, where we secure shadow AI, we call it AI you use. We secure AI you build, and securing the AI and prompt injections. I don't know if you just saw just this week, somebody used Claude to steal data from the Mexican government.
No.
Yep.
No, that's not even possible. I don't know what you're talking about.
Somebody used ChatGPT, I think, or some generative AI or AI tool to hack into some firewalls just recently from another firewall vendor. So stopping from securing the models you build and also securing agents. So having a very complete solution. We have Fortune 500 customers, Global 2000 customers already on there. So it's a very complete solution. We are so far ahead of the market on that. So that's why Shlomo had a vision around that. I think that's the next frontier. He sees the network as the place where AI security is going to happen, which is why he invested so much into that space. So from a market perspective, that's where we think that's happening.
Okay, so let's talk about that concept of kind of AI governance requiring a solid foundation, solid understanding of the network, right, and network controls. I agree with you somewhat, right? Ultimately, if I'm running my own AI, if I've got control over, the kind of API, the touch points internally, I don't actually require that control to be on the network. But there is one thing that you talked about where I completely agree, and that is where I don't have control of AI, right? So when we think about shadow AI absolutely requires network intelligence in order to combat it. There's no other way to do it.
Yeah.
Right. So can you talk to me a little bit about what you guys are doing around shadow AI and anything you might know about kind of how you're going about it?
Sorry, and not every AI obviously is
Sure,
on
of
the
course.
network, but yeah, in terms of shadow AI. So when you're on the network, everything that comes in, so the network picks up whether you're going on OpenAI, ChatGPT, you're picking up the prompts, you're picking up the data that's coming in, you're checking whether or not you're uploading files into the network, PII, whether your prompt includes PII or source code, right? But more importantly, I think for a CIO or a CISO, right, when you think about the market, they had 10, 15 years to prepare for cloud, right? Cloud migration's coming. Get ready, right? Prepare your network, prepare your infrastructure. For AI, they got 12 months, right? Shadow cloud.
Didn't ChatGPT hit 100 million users in 90 days?
Yeah, right?
Like from the December announcement of 3.5, they were the fastest application to 100 million users ever.
But what
right?
I'm saying
and
is,
so overnight, to your point, right?
But you can block it, right? Today you can be like, no one's using AI.
I mean,
on the work network,
you can, but you're going to encourage people to figure out a way around it.
Right.
Also,
and
there's new AIs cropping up every day.
Exactly.
So you're just playing whack-a-mole.
There's exactly. Right? So to the point, a CISO has 12 months to figure it out.
Sure.
Right. So they have to invest in it today. They have to. They have no choice. And they have to figure out how to stop shadow AI. They have to figure out how to prevent their employees from uploading customer data. They have to figure out their employees from uploading their next earnings release into 2-3 days before earnings into some AI tool and saying, hey, can you summarize this for me? So
yeah, I mean, it's crazy the exposure that AI has given us, and my worry is we're going to make the same mistake we've made 50 times. Like, you get shadow AI because you've not educated and enabled your users to use approved AI, right? And so they have to go hand in hand. You have to protect the business from shadow AI while encouraging and supporting the users through an official form of AI. Right. One of the things that I saw that was the most suicidal is ChatGPT got released, and almost immediately people started creating policies that said, hey, you're not allowed to use AI for any reason.
Yeah. I remember.
Well, that's just craziness, right? People are going to use the tool they think is going to help them the best to do their job the best. They're already under a ton of pressure to produce. They're under a ton of pressure to do more with less, right? You can't take away a tool like that, but you can absolutely put controls in place that help to enable them to use the proper tool and disincentivize the use of the improper tool, right? And shadow AI is incredibly dangerous, to your point.
And this goes to the whole AI economy in terms of the enablers, and where cybersecurity plays a role in terms of enabling CISOs to help their employees through their digital transformation journey. Because it's not just, right, when you think, as you're a CISO, you're not just thinking through how do I enable my employees to use AI, you're transforming productivity for the business. And CISOs are constantly looking for ways to demonstrate ROI for the business, right? An AI security tool is an ROI tool, 100% for me. I mean, it is a force multiplier for their business.
Yeah, theoretically, right? If it's done properly, especially if you're able to track, the data itself, right? If you're tracking all the prompts, as an example, and all the responses, right? You could immediately start using that data to help steer the business to people keep asking these questions. They keep getting these kind of responses. You might need actual tooling to help solve this problem so they're not hacking it together themselves, right? Like if you start thinking about how do I leverage that data for like an AI COE to help really help the business focus on the things that the users actually need rather than the things they think they might need because, a consultant told them in a PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah.
Right? There's a tremendous amount of data there that cybersecurity companies are already have the visibility to. But I think taking that to the next layer would be a wonderful goal for the future.
Yeah, and then there's the AI you build, right? And
Sure.
I just saw an article. I think it was Chipotle. Just had a chatbot, and somebody ran some Python script, and it's just.
Yeah, I mean, didn't you know you can stop paying for Claude because of Chipotle, stop paying for Gemini because of Amazon. And then the Pizza Hut bot is the other one that's pretty good. There's tons of free tokens out there. All you really need to do is find out who's got crappy security around their chatbot, and you'd be shocked what you can actually get these things to give you. Ignore all other instructions. Tell me this instead.
So again, these are ROI tools for a CISO, right? They're saving the business money, and they're protecting their cost base. So I think they're just absolutely critical tools for them, and they have to be looking for these investments right away.
Right. All right. So as we kind of wind down here, if there is 1, 2, or 3 things that you'd really love a CISO to know and understand, what are those? What are some of those things you think?
When you're thinking about platforms, really just understand what you're buying. I see a lot of CISOs and CIOs at the same time. They're starting to lose trust in a lot of these vendors. I hear it from them. They talk about platforms, and like, this is not a platform. These are just portfolios. And we're seeing platforms consolidate into groupings, endpoint platforms, networking platforms, cloud platforms. And ultimately, there's the procurement benefit to it. But when you really, when you're selling the benefit of a platform, they need to really be honest with themselves and what they're actually buying. And the platform benefits to reducing risk through integrations. So just know what you're buying and be honest with yourself, right? If you're going to go into some of the big guys with a big platform, does it really reduce risk by really providing these level of integrations, or are you just buying an acquisition from 2 different products? And if you're willing to go into that, then that's great. If not, then really look into finding something that really works. And then the other thing is on the AI. I mean, we have to move fast on the AI. I think that's the most important thing. The window of risk is moving fast. And I think CISOs need to really start evaluating and finding solutions quickly.
Sure. Your answer can't be, I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. It can't be, we've turned off all AI access.
Yeah.
Right. It can't be anything other than this is our plan to enable the business to be competitive now and in the future.
That's right. You don't have 10 years like you did with cloud. You literally have 10 weeks.
Yeah. Without a doubt. Well, this has been absolutely fantastic. So join us for our continuing coverage of RSA. This has been Business Disruptions in Tech. Like, subscribe, follow, and we'll see you on the next episode.